At a national level, we continue to see the housing market conditions ease. Over the month, we saw capital city home values fall by 0.3%, whilst regional values rose by 0.6%. So we're still seeing growth regionally, but that growth has really slowed quite significantly, but not to the same magnitude as we've seen in the capital cities. The underperformance of the capital city markets is really being driven mostly by falls in the Sydney and Melbourne market. But outside of those markets, we're seeing capital growth slow quite substantially as well. We also continue to see that it's the lower end of the market that's holding up much better. That's been supported by more first home buyers and a lot of investors active in the market over recent months. Now, we might actually start to see fewer investors after the changes announced in the federal budget have now been legislated. I expect we'll see a pullback in demand from that investor segment. The top end of the market, I guess, is somewhat more fickle because borrowing capacities have reduced with higher interest rates, affordability is much more stretched, and that's where we're seeing the bigger declines in the market. The other thing that's really transitioning in the market is the amount of stock available for sale. Markets like Sydney and Melbourne have seen quite high stock levels for several years now, and that's led and contributed to the underperformance in price growth. But in those other markets where stock levels have been very tight, places like Perth and Brisbane, we're now starting to see stock levels increasing, and that's contributing to the slowdown in price growth we're seeing in those markets. Unfortunately, I think the market is in for a bit of a challenging patch, and I wouldn't be surprised if the slowdown in price growth we've seen over recent months continues. We know that housing market sentiment at the moment is quite weak. We know that there's fewer active buyers in the market. And of course, at the same time, there's more stock on the market. So we are heading for a somewhat more challenging period. Good opportunities for people to buy. And I think when you're looking to sell at the moment, the real important thing is to take on board that feedback that you're getting from the market and realize that you're probably not going to get multiple offers on a property. The first offer that you get on a property may actually end up being the only offer or the best offer you get. So keep that in mind when you're looking to sell at the moment.